What does it mean to owe the world, yet walk with the peace of one who owes nothing? And if the soul is generous beyond its means, will the divine repay the debts it cannot? Ancient sage Rumi tells a story of such a man, whose wealth was not in his hands, but in his heart. In a corner of the city lived Sheikh Ahmad Khizraviya, a man known for two things: his endless debts and his fearless generosity. He borrowed without hesitation and gave without reserve. With money loaned from merchants and nobles, he fed the hungry, clothed the naked, and built a monastery. He spent as if the purse of heaven had been placed in his trust. To the poor, he was a saint. To the wealthy, a mystery. They would lend him thousands, yet receive nothing back except perhaps a strange peace when they looked into his eyes. Years passed like this. Debt mounted, but the Sheikh's heart remained untroubled. He believed without doubt that God would provide, as surely as the sun rises. And in truth, help had always come from directions no one could explain. But even saints have an end. When the Sheikh's final days approached, and his body thinned like a candle near its end, word spread. His creditors, worried and bitter, gathered around his bed. They stood not out of love, but in hope or fear of what would happen to their money. The Sheikh, wrapped in a warm blanket, looked at them with calm eyes. Their tension filled the room like smoke. Then, from the street below, came a sweet, high call. A young boy selling halwa. The Sheikh stirred. He asked his servant to buy the boy's entire tray of sweets. "Perhaps," he said softly, "a bit of sweetness will soften these bitter faces." The servant called down to the boy, who offered a fair price, half a dinar and a few dirhams. Bargaining in the humble style of dervishes, the servant insisted on just half a dinar, no more. The boy agreed, and soon the fragrant halwa was laid before the Sheikh. He gestured to his creditors and invited them to eat, calling it a saint's farewell gift. And though skeptical, they did. Sitting in a circle, they ate the halwa, their frowns loosening with every bite. But when the halwa was finished, the boy returned, expecting payment. The Sheikh, without even opening his eyes, replied that he had none to give. The boy froze, then panic rising in his chest, he began to cry. He wept for his fate, certain his master would beat him. The sound of his wailing filled the room and spilled into the street. The creditors too erupted in anger. "This is a trick," they said. "You've taken our gold, and now you take from children too." Through it all, the Sheikh lay still. His face was calm, his eyes closed. He made no attempt to explain himself. Someone tried to collect money to help the boy, but the Sheikh forbade it. He said, "The true people of heart have more than this. Wait." Hours passed, and the boy cried until his voice grew hoarse. However, the Sheikh did not move. Then, just after the noon prayer, a servant appeared. He carried a tray wrapped in cloth, sent by a wealthy follower of the Sheikh. On one side lay 400 gold dinars, the exact amount the Sheikh owed. On the other side, half a dinar, wrapped separately, the price of the halwa. Gasps filled the room. The same men who had cursed him now stood ashamed. They begged for forgiveness. They said they had spoken in blindness and acted without understanding. The Sheikh opened his eyes, faint but clear. He said he had asked not for coin, but for a sign. And God had answered, not through wealth, but through the boy's crying. That single coin, he said, was the weight of the boy's soul. His tears moved the heavens. Until he wept, the door remained closed. Then he added, "Oh, brother, that boy is your heart. Your success lies in its weeping. When the soul cries with sincerity, the ocean of generosity rises. And when you have nothing left but your cry, that is when the tray of gold arrives.